So the short answer is that yes, there was a Mr. Barlow. There is some disagreement on which Mr. Barlow was the Mr. Barlow. There was an Obadiah Barlow manufacturing knives in Sheffield, England around 1670. His grandson, John Barlow, began exporting them to America in the mid-1700s. There was also a manufacturer in Stannington on the outskirts of Sheffield making Barlow knives in the late 1700s. These knives may have been named after a Samuel Barlow who lived on Neepsend Street in Stannington. There was also a Barlow Brothers cutlery business in Stannington. The Barlow knife was first mass-produced in America by the John Russell Company around 1785. Russell's Barlows with the arrow through the R on the oversized bolster were rugged and affordable. By the 19th century, Barlow had become a universal term for a style of pocketknife rather than a specific brand or company. It turns out that a single Barlow-style penknife may have changed the course of American history not once, but twice. A young George Washington obtained a commission in the British Navy. His mother, Mary Ball Washington, was convinced a career in the British Navy was not the right path for her son and implored him to reconsider. George decided to respect his mother's wishes and surrendered his commission. George Washington's mother presented him with this penknife as a reward for heeding to her wishes and as a reminder to always obey your superiors. Fast forward to that rough winter in Valley Forge during the Revolutionary War. With his men starving and freezing, Washington wrote out a letter of resignation as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. One of his trusted officers reminded Washington of his prized penknife and his mother's instruction to always obey your superiors. Washington decided to tear up his resignation letter and lead his men to fight to the end. And the rest is, as they say, history. So every Barlow-style pocketknife has similar characteristics. They all have this oversized bolster on one end only, and this rounded teardrop-shaped handle opposite the bolster. They normally have two blades, a main blade and a secondary blade. The Barlow design appeals to me because of this heavy-duty, rugged bolster and also the shape of the handle. That shape reminds me of everybody's favorite $1.99 utility knife. It's that same sort of shape. And also the perfect handle style screwdrivers. This one's my everyday carry. It's marked Powercraft. Powercraft was Montgomery Ward's hardware line, similar to the way Craftsman was Sears' hardware line. I like this long nail nick. This one does not have brass liners. It's got the saw cut black Delrin scales. Look at how it's marked Barlow. The BAR are stamped really deeply, and then it fades from there. The W's almost gone. It's like that on this side too. This Craftsman Barlow was supposed to be my new everyday carry. I'm scared I'm going to lose it. This one's got brass liners. Also has the long nail nick. That's marked Craftsman. I just finished cleaning up this Ulster old-timer Barlow. Again, it's too nice and probably too rare for me to carry every day. I did notice that it's a twin to the Craftsman. Same size. Even that font is very similar. The rivets are the same. So this Ulster brand was made by Schrade. So I'm guessing Schrade also made this one for Craftsman. Now if you compare those two to my Powercraft, Powercraft is slightly bigger, the bolster's a different shape, and it only has 2 rivets. Now this is the Camco that I shared last week. Davy Crockett's own Frontier knife. Check it out. Let me move these two out of the way. See the way Barlow is stamped? Very similar. This has 2 rivets. That has 2 rivets. They're the same size and the bolsters look the same too. Now Camco was made by Camillus, so I'm going to say that Camillus made the Powercraft knives for Montgomery Ward. I have another Camco Barlow. This one has a sheep's foot type blade. There's more Camco. I think this one has the strange, someone modified the secondary blade for a special purpose. This one's got 4 notches in it. What do you think? You think they're kills? This one's my shop Barlow. The scales were damaged, so I replaced the scales many years ago with cherry. Just epoxied them in place. They've held up well over the years. So I guess this was a giveaway for New Holland. There's Mark Barlow. And this is a Cutmaster Utica. I think the blade was damaged and I had to reprofile it. The previous owner narrowed up this blade. A friend gave me this knife. It says Parker Eagle brand knives. Genuine smooth bone stag handles. Barlow. Barlow, Japan. Collector knives at a working man's price. Let's see what's in the box. So it was a giveaway for Christmas, 1985. Does everybody remember where they were? Christmas, 1985? And looks like Train HVAC company. So there's your genuine stag handles. The bolsters look like they're nickel silver. This has got the long nail nick with those ridges in it. My understanding is those ridges were added so that you could light a strike anywhere match on it. Anybody ever try that? There's the markings. Does it say Parker? Surgical steel. Made in Japan. And this knife is like new in box. 0 miles. Kind of bothers me that seems like they wrote that engrave that upside down, you know. I would have liked it the other way. So this one has the Barlow stamped in like a script font. This knife has like a rattle to it. However this is constructed, these bolsters are loose. Weird, right? This is a Colonial. It's the main blade. That's interesting. The main blade looks like it's in pretty good shape. The smaller blade has definitely seen a lot of sharpening. And it looks like someone tried to scratch their names into the Delrin. Can't quite make it out. Debbie, maybe? Debbie, I got your pocket knife. These 7 pocket knives were all made by Imperial. And these all have what I like to call the hubcap construction. You look at the end of the knife. Can you see those bent over tangs? 2 notches here. You pick this up, it's lighter. You can kind of tell that this is hollow sheet metal rather than solid steel. Let me show you what one of these is like taken apart. This is actually a pretty ingenious design. So these knives all have a steel chassis, I'll call it. It's riveted together. It's completely functional. All the springs are in there. The knife works as it should. And then the scales in the bolster are made out of this stamped sheet metal with either plastic or a sticker or whatever to make up the decoration for the scale. This one looks like it has plastic riveted to the sheet metal. And see, that's the clip I was talking about. That clips it there. This design has like an internal clip down here. You kind of click it together. I think that's a pretty cool design. My favorite Imperial Barlow style pocket knife is this one here. The Delrin scales are a little fancier, and it's got this like sheep's foot blade. I think that's pretty cool. And the normal secondary blade. You could do a lot worse for an everyday carry. This one's hammer brand, which I believe was related to Imperial. This also has the hubcap construction. There would have been a celluloid covering right here for decoration. It's common for those to get damaged, wear away, go missing. The main blade's missing a tip on this one. And the small blade has been sharpened way down. It's also a little bit smaller than my other Barlows. The font on this one has the AR and the OW underlined. That's different. And this is marked Colonial. This also has the tabs. So this is also like a hubcap design. I like these scales. That's kind of cool looking, right? I have this other more modern Barlow, and this one's just marked USA, but it's got that same underline under the AR and the OW, so I'm guessing it's also Colonial. That one's got more reddish colored scales. So it looks like I've got 19 Barlow style pocket knives. Both Chuck and Mrs. Magdad think I've got way too many. I feel like I need at least one more to make an even 20. I hope you enjoyed my show and tell. Thanks for watching. Check out my Barlow pocket knife projects.